when in accordance with the word of Eliyahu there was not rain on the land for 3 years, Yahweh provided for Eliyahu the prophet through a miraculous provision of oil and flour to the widow of Zarephath. And when that widow's son died, Eliyahu stretched himself upon the child 3 times and cried to Yahweh and said, O Yahweh my God, I pray thee, let this child's soul return upon his midst. And Yahweh hearkened to the voice of Eliyahu, and the soul of the child returned upon his midst, and he revived. And Eliyahu took the child, and brought him down out of the chamber into the house, and delivered him to his mother. And Eliyahu said, See, thy son liveth. And the woman said to Eliyahu, Now I know that thou art a man of God, and that the word of Yahweh in thy mouth is truth. Of the books called Kings, the 1st, chapter 18. And it was after many days that the word of Yahweh was to Eliyahu in the 3rd year, saying, Go, show thyself to Ahab, and I will send rain upon the earth. And Eliyahu went to show himself to Ahab, and the famine had become mighty in Shamaron. And Ahab called Abdiyahu, who was over the household. Now Abdiyahu feared Yahweh greatly, for it was so, when Izebel cut off the prophets of Yahweh, that Abdiyahu took 100 prophets, and hid them by 50 in a cave, and fed them with bread and water. And Ahab said to Abdiyahu, Go through the land, to all the fountains of water, and to all the brooks. Perhaps we may find grass, and save the horses and mules alive, that we lose not all the beasts. So they divided the land between them to pass through it. Ahab went one way by himself, and Abdiyahu went another way by himself. And as Abdiyahu was in the way, behold, Eliyahu met him, and he knew him, and fell on his face, and said, Is it thou, my lord Eliyahu? And he answered him, It is I. Go, tell thy lord, behold, Eliyahu is here. And he said, Wherein have I sinned, that thou wouldst deliver thy servant into the hand of Ahab to slay me? As Yahweh thy God liveth, there is no nation or kingdom whither my Lord hath not sent to seek thee. And when they said, He is not here, he took an oath of the kingdom and nation, that they found thee not. And now thou sayest, Go tell thy Lord, behold, Eliyahu is here. And it will be, as soon as I am gone from thee, that the Spirit of Yahweh will carry thee whither I know not. And so when I come and tell Ahab, and he cannot find thee, he will slay me. But I, thy servant, fear Yahweh from my youth. Was it not told, my lord, what I did when Izebel slew the prophets of Yahweh, how I hid 100 men of Yahweh's prophets by 50 in a cave, and fed them with bread and water? And now thou sayest, Go tell thy lord, behold, Eliyahu is here, and he will slay me. And Eliyahu said, As Yahweh of hosts liveth, before whom I stand, I will surely show myself to him today. So Abdiyahu went to meet Ahab, and told him, and Ahab went to meet Eliyahu. And it was, when Ahab saw Eliyahu, that Ahab said to him, Is it thou, thou troubler of Yisrael? And he answered, I have not troubled Yisrael, but thou and thy father's house, in that ye have forsaken the commands of Yahweh, and thou hast followed the Baalim. Now therefore send, and gather to me all Yisrael to Mount Carmel, and the prophets of the Baal 450, and the prophets of the Asherah 400, that eat at Jezebel's table. So Ahab sent to all the children of Yisrael, and gathered the prophets together to Mount Carmel. And Eliyahu came near to all the people, and said, How long go ye limping between the two sides? If Yahweh be the God, follow him, but if the Baal, then follow him. And the people answered him not a word. Then said Eliyahu to the people, I, even I only, am left a prophet of Yahweh, but the Baal's prophets are 450 men. Let them therefore give us 2 bullocks, and let them choose 1 bullock for themselves, and cut it in pieces, and lay it on the wood, but a fire they shall set not. And I will dress the other bullock, and lay it on the wood, and a fire I shall set not. And call ye in the name of your God, and I will call in the name of Yahweh, and the God that answereth by fire, he is the God. And all the people answered and said, The word is good. And Eliyahu said to the prophets of the Baal, Choose for you 1 bullock, and dress it first, for ye are many, and call ye in the name of your God, but a fire ye shall set not. And they took the bullock which was given to them, and they dressed it, and called in the name of the Baal from morning even until noon, saying, O Baal, hear us! But there was no voice, nor any that answered, and they leaped about the altar which they made. And it was in the noontime that Eliyahu mocked them, and said, Cry aloud, for he is a god. Either he is musing, or he is gone aside, or he is on a journey, or perhaps he sleepeth and must be awoken. And they cried aloud, and cut themselves after their manner with knives and lances, till the blood gushed out upon them. And it was so, when midday was past, that they prophesied until the time of the offering of the evening oblation. But there was neither voice, nor any to answer, nor any that regarded. And Eliyahu said to all the people, Come near to me. And all the people came near to him, and he repaired the altar of Yahweh that was thrown down. And Eliyahu took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, to whom the word of Yahweh became, saying, Yisrael shall be thy name. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of Yahweh, and he made a trench about the altar as great as would contain sahathaim of seed. And he put the wood in order, and cut the bullock in pieces, and laid it on the wood. And he said, Fill 4 jars with water, and pour it on the ascending offering, and on the wood. And he said, "Do it the second time." And they did it the second time. And he said, "Do it the third time." And they did it the third time. And the water ran round about the altar, and he filled the trench also with water. And it was at the time of the offering of the evening oblation that Eliyahu the prophet came near and said, "O Yahweh, the God of Abraham, of Yitzhak, and of Israel, let it be known this day that thou art God in Israel, and that I am thy servant, and that I have done all these things at thy word. Hear me, O Yahweh, hear me, that this people may know that thou, Yahweh, art the God, and that thou hast turned their heart back again." Then the fire of Yahweh fell and consumed the ascending offering, and the wood, and the stones, and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces, and they said, "Yahweh, he is the God! Yahweh, he is the God!" And Eliyahu said to them, "Take the prophets of the Baal, let not one of them escape." And they took them, and Eliyahu brought them down to the brook Kishon, and slew them there. And Eliyahu said to Ahab, "Get thee up, eat and drink, for there is the sound of abundance of rain." So Ahab went up to eat and to drink, and Eliyahu went up to the top of Carmel, and he bowed himself down upon the earth, and put his face between his knees. And he said to his servant, "Go up now, look toward the sea." And he went up and looked and said, "There is nothing." And he said, "Go again 7 times. And it was at the 7th time that he said, "Behold, there ariseth a cloud out of the sea, as small as a man's hand." And he said, "Go up and say to Ahab, Bind thy chariot and get thee down, that the rain stop thee not." And it was in a little while that the skies grew black with clouds and wind, and there was a great rain. And Ahab rode and went to Yezreel. And the hand of Yahweh was on Eliyahu, and he girded up his loins, and ran before Ahab to the entrance of Yezreel. And Ahab told Izebel all that Eliyahu had done, and withal how he had slain all the prophets with the sword. Then Izebel sent a messenger to Eliyahu, saying, "So let the gods do to me, and more also, if I make not thy soul as the soul of one of them by tomorrow about this time."